2026 has been a really bad, no good, terrible year for CS2 skins. The market has suffered one of its worst crashes ever, and there is no end in sight. So what's triggered this meltdown? Well, the truth is, it's got nothing to do with cheaters or a lack of updates or a lack of new skins, and everything to do with a massive fraud that's been enacted on the community. A fraud that is finally starting to unravel, and for the most part, that unraveling is probably a good thing. So what's really going on with the skins market meltdown? Well, let's get into things. Now, this video is sponsored by Skinsmonkey, the trading site where you can quickly and easily trade your skins. Just log in, add your trade link, and you are good to go. All you have to do is select the items you want and hit the trade button. There's over 150,000 items to choose from, and if you use my code Zeus, you can get up to $5 off your first trade. And even if you're not interested in trading, the site holds free, daily, weekly, and monthly giveaways that you can enter completely for free. It's a great site. Check it out, link is in the description. So at the outset, I need to say this, the skins market as it has existed for the past 2 years is dead. It is dead and there is probably no going back. But to understand how we've ended up with a meltdown like this, we need to look at the house of cards the market was built on in the first place. Basically, from the start of 2024 to the end of 2025, skins were experiencing a massive fuck-off bull run that was pushing prices to levels that very quickly started looking very retarded. Now, the first sign something was seriously wrong was when the price of a lot of flashy high-tier skins started skyrocketing in mid-2025. Now, a lot of skins were affected here, but the standard examples are really the Dopplers and the OG gloves. Now, if we just take a look at the charts, you don't need to be Warren Buffett to figure out that something is seriously wrong with the market. This shouldn't be happening. Someone is clearly manipulating the price. But at the same time, this didn't mean these prices were automatically going to crash because these are still very rare and expensive skins. Is 6k for a butterfly gamma Doppler stupid? Yes, but it is a rare knife. It is hard to get. If people really want to keep the price like that, there's no reason they can't. However, very soon the people doing this ran out of good high tier stuff to buy, so they started buying all kinds of other random shit instead. Famously, for example, they took the M4A4 Hellfire Factory New and they did this to it, which I'm sure kind of speaks for itself when you just look at it. They also took the AK Hydroponic, which is a good skin, but they pushed its price to nearly $10,000 US, which is quite a lot. But stupid as all of this is, there's nothing actually stopping people from doing it. The skins market isn't that big, and if people in China wanted to keep prices inflated, well, they could, and this strategy worked for them right up until the point that it didn't. So the downfall of the skins market started with a small update in October 2025 that made it possible to trade up for knives. This completely changed how skins functioned, and the resulting market crash made headlines around the world. But what followed is quite interesting because the market mostly recovered from this. In fact, by the end of 2025, we'd recovered about 70% of the drop. But the problem is that after this, the market started falling again and kept on falling. In fact, it's literally been falling all year. And specifically, a lot of the really high-end shit is what's getting smashed. For example, there's the M4A1S Fade, a high-profile skin from the Armory, freshly discontinued. It started the year at $700 and now it is $250. Hope no one invested in them. We've also seen things like the Desert Hydra get smashed. It's down about 60% since the start of the year. And then there's high tier shit like the Hedge Mazes, which are also down almost 50%. Now, on top of higher end stuff getting smashed, there's also been a catastrophic collapse in the prices of things like stickers. The Cato 2014 market has basically stopped existing, and a lot of other stickers have just been fucked. Hope no one invested in these. And then there's CS cases, which are only down a little bit. That's the best thing I've got to say about the market at the moment, and this has had catastrophic flow-on effects for everybody else. First of all, skin traders have gotten smashed by all of this. Having the market you operate in meltdown isn't good at the best of times, but a lot of skins traders have also been operating on business models that relied on skins constantly going up in price. Naturally, a lot of them have just been fucked. But what's actually sent us spiraling down? Well, part of the story here is what Valve has done, and they have done a bunch of things. I mean, first of all, that trade-ups update essentially scared people shitless. It's a fundamental change to how skins work that essentially rugged a whole bunch of people overnight, but the issue also is that the changes actually didn't stop there. First of all, we're currently going through a kind of transition where it looks like cases are going to be replaced by terminals. This is a major change to how skins work, and it's causing a lot of uncertainty, particularly because people don't really like the terminals. Now, on top of this, Valve have switched to a new sticker store for the Mage, which people absolutely hate. Again, a big change to how skins work that a lot of people are uncomfortable with, but at least we have souvenirs, right? At least we, what's this? We can use them in trade-up contracts now? Yeah, that's why the price of the Desert Hydra died, if you're wondering. And all of this has come together to essentially shred the market's confidence in skins. Valve have been changing stuff, and now people are scared. And that may not have been a big deal if the market hadn't turned into a massive fraud based entirely on confidence. So here's the thing about skin prices in 2025. It wasn't some spontaneous thing. It was a huge, organized project deliberately designed to force up the price of skins. There were groups, these groups had leaders, there were social media campaigns, and it was all methodically designed to make the market as expensive as possible. And I think the fact they got as far as they did without imploding is really impressive. Normally the people involved rug pull stuff like this way earlier. And on top of making things like the Hedge Maze unimaginably expensive, this was also helping to support an entire industry of bot accounts farming armory stars, which is why there's now 100,000 N4 AONS fades. But all this success was just setting things up for an even worse disaster, because a scheme like this relies on one thing: confidence. People stick with the program so long as they're confident, but that confidence has now been destroyed, and it hasn't been destroyed by the manipulators, it's been destroyed by the game developer. And because these guys were so successful at manipulating the market, well, the end result has just been an even worse crash. The two things have come together to wreck the market in the worst possible way, and the manipulators have now lost control of the situation as well. One of the biggest players, a guy called Winking, is now facing massive backlash. He's having to show off his holdings to prove to people that he hasn't scammed that. Wait, how much money has this lost? Other people are actively trying to get his followers to sell. It's civil war in the Chinese skin scene, basically. And all of this really just comes down to the fact that the market during 2025 turned into a giant fraud. You don't even need to bring up the cheaters. The market would still be crashing even if the anti-cheat was 100% perfect. But is any of this a bad thing? Skins are a market, and markets will always have stuff like investors and traders and things like that. That's natural. What's not natural is the shit that China's been pulling for the last couple of years, and I don't think having unnaturally high prices is healthy for the game long term. It prices out normal players, and it encourages bad shit like bot farms, and it also just sets everybody up for a massive fall, which is exactly what we're seeing now. And we wouldn't have this problem if prices were being mostly driven by players rather than manipulators. And that doesn't mean skins have to be cheap, it just means stuff like the field tested hedge mazes shouldn't have been 10k. But with the crash finally happening, it does mean the market actually has a chance to get back to normal. The old CS market might be dead, but the new one is probably better for the game. All we need now is a fucking anti-cheat. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. If you've enjoyed it, please like, comment, and subscribe, massively appreciated. Otherwise, trust the numbers, not your gut. I'm Jesus. Thanks for watching. See ya.